Yo, what's going on, everybody? You are now listening to Kensei's podcast. All right. This is the first episode. And so I've always wanted to start a podcast, and you probably are listening to this because you follow me or you know about the music or something's going on where you know who Kensei is, but I've always felt that I've got a lot going on and I've got a lot to say, and it doesn't always necessarily fit the music. So I've just not spoken much about it because that's pretty much been my focus for the past, 10 years, as you guys may know. But now I feel like I don't know. I want to transition into something where I can speak more, and not to say I'm not doing music. Burning Bridges is coming soon. But I'm trying to transition into maybe a version of myself that I can present to you all in many different ways. And for a long time, it's just been that one way. And now I feel like I'm going to try and do some other avenues and explore those avenues, and just try to make the most of my creative abilities. And listening to feedback from you guys. If you want it, I give it. So here we are. And yeah, I have some ideas on what I want to talk about, but mostly it's just going to be me speaking to you in about maybe 30 minutes or so about what's going on, things I'm interested in, wrestling, some collecting, a mix of things, some Los Angeles type news. No, I don't really think you all are here for that, and I'm not really here for that either. The news part, and this is not going to be a place where I discuss politics or anything like that. We don't really venture off that way, but I'm here to have fun. I'm not here to get too crazy with it, but we can get crazy. So, something that's gone on recently, I just got engaged. Crazy, right? Yeah, I know. Thank you all for all the wonderful things you've said. And I appreciate it. Yeah, it's crazy. Life is a very crazy thing, and if you don't, how do I say? I did a very bad job of understanding in my youth the moments that were passing me by, or so I might say, where you don't take full appreciation of what's going on in the moment, and that's not necessarily anything specific, but I just feel that where I am in life, I can see things full picture, and that's maybe due to all these past experiences. But yeah, anyway, wrestling's crazy right now. I want to talk about one of the hottest promotions going on. No, this is not an ad, but I gotta talk about GCW over at the Ukrainian Culture Center. I was there, last week? A few days ago, really. Man, crazy show. It was just what you expected from a GCW show. A lot of action, a lot of high flying, a lot of hardcore, but not really too much, which I was surprised at. There wasn't really as much of the deathmatch stuff as I was expecting, and maybe that's just because on social media you see it and you think, oh man, that's what they do. But, it was great. It was actually a good variety of different styles. You had some lucha, some high flying, some mat wrestling, some comedy entertainment. You had your hardcore, you had your main event hard hitter, you had your tags. Very cool. Shout out what's his name, Starboy. Yeah, that was crazy. Really cool show. They're coming back to LA next month. They're going to Queens. Shout out Queens, of course, this week, I think, on the 23rd. Check that out for sure. But yeah, they're doing a lot of big things. They had the whole Cardona Gage stuff, pizza cutter, Domino's. Had what's it called? Placed an ad with them. I don't know if they knew the whole story, but had a Domino's ad right after Nick Gage pulls out the pizza cutter. Just genius, right? But that's old news. We know this. But yeah, the Cardona stuff, the Nick Gage stuff, the the Suzuki now in there. Moxley's the champ right now. Like, come on. They're probably the hottest indie right now. And if they're not, let me know. Please hit me up and let me know what's a hotter indie promotion right now than them. And I would love to know, because I'm down. Hit me up. So I gotta talk about that Effie and Too Cold Scorpio match that was at GCW that day. And like, I knew the card and I saw it before I went. Me and Ro went, and I was like, oh, let's go to the show. It's so right here. It's all right. But I didn't really pay much attention to the card when I saw it. I was like, oh, okay, he's here, whatever. I'm just going to go and, experience it. And I've been to plenty of indie shows, but I don't think I've ever been to a GCW show, especially not in LA. I'm trying to go to more shows in LA. So I go, I forget that both of these guys are going to be there. And so I'm kind of standing off to the, if you're watching the show, the hard cam, I'm off to the right side of it in the standing room behind the chairs, because I'm not messing with the front row. You feel me? But anyway, I'm back there. So to my right, like if I'm looking at the ring, to my right is where the workers are coming out the curtain. And so everyone's crowding around to do their big thing when people come out. So I can't really see necessarily. But music pops. Homie comes out, Too Cold Scorpio. And I'm like, oh, what? Like, how old is this guy? He's still going hard. And I know he hasn't retired. I've seen him doing things on Twitter and whatever every now and then. But I'm like, damn. And when did this guy... 1985, this guy debuted. 1985. This guy's like 55 years old. Still going hard. So he comes out. Everyone's going crazy. Effie comes out. I think Effie came out first, but everyone's going crazy. And this is the first time I've seen Effie. And I knew all about him, but I haven't really seen too much of his work. So I was like, oh, this is great. I get to see, a match of the ages that I never thought I would see. And they come out to do a little dance competition in the beginning, and I'm like, all right, here we are. And then they start working, and then it was great because it just came right after that crazy, I think it was a 6-man scramble. I forget all the names in the match, but little homie at the end did some crazy something, and I think I posted it on Twitter or somewhere, and check it out. But he did something, and it was like at the end of that, you're just like, whoa, that's the first match. And so going right into this match was a perfect like pace adjustment to get you like, not too sugar high off of the first 20 minutes or 15 minutes or so. But yeah, so these two guys were going at it, and all these matches are pretty long. Not what we're used to in, the E or whatever, but yeah, it was a sight. And Effie did the job, and which I was not expecting, but I guess you gotta pop the crowd with the local, well, not local, but with the legend. Just amazing. I'm still kind of in shock that I saw Too Cold Scorpio. But yeah, that was definitely one of the more interesting matches of the night. I think I have to talk about the death match. It was G Raver and Alex Colon, New York legend, apparently. And I was like, all right, cool. He had the Kobe Bryant high school jersey on. I was like, all right, dope, cool. And they come out, they're bringing out ladders with light tubes on them, and I'm just like, oh. So I'm glad I'm not in the front row. You feel me? I'm not trying to get glass powder in my eyes or whatever. So good thing for the masks or whatever, right? But anyway, they come out, do the thing. Glass starts flying, like I'm talking about, literally flying. And this is crazy. He's digging the other guy's head with the glass. I'm like, oh man, this is. And like when I was a kid, sure, I'm like, oh, so yeah, hit him with the this and that. But now I'm like, I've been a little closer to it. I've done a little training. I've been watching it for so long and been part of it for so long in some ways. and it's like you get a different perspective of it, and you kind of grow out of that crazy stuff too. Not all of us, but me personally. And it was just kind of wild to see that live. And so I really encourage any of you that are not wrestling fans or are not fans of that style or have never seen it, go check it out. It's an interesting show for sure. But I think AJ Gary, that match, the three-way with the three-man tag with Starboy and his homies against AJ Gray's group. I forget the name of the stable, but dope match. They brought doors out. And I used to think when I was a kid and your figure came with a door, you're like, where's this door coming from? And I'm like, all right, there's the door. It was pretty funny. But I don't know what the match of the night was for me, but seeing Suzuki live was dope as hell. And being so close against who do you play? Who do you fight? How am I forgetting this? It was freaking damn, how am I forgetting the main event? Oh, Jonathan Gresham, who was a lot shorter than I would have imagined. Still impressive wrestler, but very cool match, slow match, very much catering to Suzuki, I think, and as you should, right? Crowd got to scream the music at the end, so Suzuki incident is over, but yeah, it was dope. And then Gage comes out at the end, challenges him, and I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta go to that show. They announced it for October show, so I'm definitely gonna be there. So hit me up. But yeah, that was GCW in LA, and it was great. Highest in the room. I didn't get it until about halfway through the show or something. I think the intermission after all the glass was everyone had to sweep it up. They were playing Travis, and I was like, oh, I get it now. Highest in the room. But yeah, that was GCW. And okay, also in somewhat wrestling news, but more personal, would be the fact that I got the privilege and the opportunity to work with Carl Anderson, and shout out Rocky for hooking that all up and making that happen, and linking me with Kubrick. But yeah, we made some music, and Anderson gets to come out on his solo runs to some Kensei, man. That's just crazy to me. Like, as a kid, if you were to tell me, hey, you're gonna make intro music for these guys, I'd have been like, psh, get out of here. But man, it was great. Like, very, very stuck to my process, made it happen in terms of making the song. But it's a Kensei song for sure, and it fits and it works with what he's got going on. The Machine Gun Carl Anderson got some sick music, and shout out to AEW for playing that on TNT. That was definitely dope. So shouts to them. I hope they give my man some more singles runs, and lets him bring some gold home, because the good brother gotta eat. You feel me? But yeah, that was really dope. But also, not my first time being able to work with one of the boys on a track, and so that's a shout out to my boy Will Ferrara from Queens, baby. I was able to do some music for him back in the day for his ROH show, and whenever he was competing, he would come out to that, and that was crazy. That was the first time I had been able to do something like that, where I got to involve myself in the show somehow. And I've been in plenty of shows in terms of my music, but having it been in a wrestling universe, or the wrestling universe as it was just like shocking to me. And so just being able to get it to do it again, is just like, wow, like I'm happy, and that's what we got to do. We got to chase our happiness. We got to chase our passions. We got to chase that feeling of accomplishment, because what are we here for? We don't know. So let's make it up ourselves as we go. Let's give ourselves reasons to be here and enjoy it as much as possible. We're here for a good time, not a long time. All of us, really. No matter how long you live, it's really not that long. So let's make sure that we're enjoying ourselves and getting the most out of it, no matter what it is that you're, what you're doing. All right. So I also have to talk about, Big E winning the WWE Championship. I was like, I unfortunately wasn't watching Raw, can you blame me? But I saw online a photo of him, and I'm like, what, is that real? Like, I know he had the briefcase, but I did not think they were going to pull the trigger. And, stupid me, of course they're going to pull the trigger right now. Everything's going on between them and AEW and the NXT rechange or change up, whatever you want to call it, rebranding, sorry. So of course they're going to pull the trigger on that and bring some attention to Raw. They have to. And of course they're going to do it with Big E, because who doesn't love Big E? Who doesn't love Mr. Big E Langston? I do. But shit. So he went over Lashley, cashed in. I was loving Lashley, still love Lashley in the MVP thing. I think that's the best, one of the best duos. I even like them better than Omega and Callis sometimes, just because they can be a little extra, I guess. But MVP is just that gold, man. He's just doing everything right, and I dig it. And it's just on another level with him, because came up watching him come up, here, Japan, whatnot, and then now he's just at this next stage of his career, and it's really just it's appropriate, as that's what I should say. It's very appropriate for where he should be, and he's just excelling at it, and it's great. So to step away from wrestling for a bit, because we never step away fully, I wanted to bring up Madden 22 that just came out recently. And I'm going to preface this by saying I did not purchase it. So this is not the opinion of someone that has purchased it, played it, and is giving his completely factual opinion on it, right? Because that would be important. I'm just going to repeat what I've basically read and heard, and that it's the same shit like it always is. And, are we surprised? I'm not. But I wanted to be surprised. You don't know. If you know me, you know I'm the Madden guru. You know I'm the Madden god, the God of Madden. And if you know, you know. If you don't know, come see me. But anyway, I was an addict of this game. Okay? If there was a meeting for, people that were sickly involved in Madden, NFL, I was one of them. Okay? I would play this game every day, so I knew the ins and outs. I could beat anybody. Shout out the Raiders. You know the deal. You know what was going on. But I just got sick of it, where it was like, this is the same game year in, year out. And I kind of stepped away from the NFL for a bit when they had all that stuff going on with Cap. And so I was like, this is too much for me. I can't really deal with them right now, the NFL. So, but I kept my eyes on it. I love football. Football shaped me, I feel like. And so I felt like I'm always checking it out. I'm always seeing, okay, what's going on with Madden? What's going on with Madden? And so again, I hear there's just constant bugs, there's constant glitches. It's the same kind of stuff. And I don't really want a revolutionized game. I kind of can give me the same thing, but just do something with franchise. And I've read that they did make some changes, but it's mostly aesthetic, and like the foundation of the game is still the same there. I really want to know what's going on with the progression of players, because you know me, I'm a franchise guy. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to play 20 years. But if the progression's not right, if I draft a rookie and he's a 70 or whatever when I draft him, and he gets like, there's a thing where maybe if you're not a sports fan, let me break it down. So rookies come out every year in a draft class, when they declare to leave school or wherever and come into the professional league. There's, you draft a certain number of players every year, and this player will either do well or won't do well, just like in real life or whatnot, right? So in Madden, there's been a history of all of these players not really progressing in an appropriate way as they should. Whereas not even those specific players that get drafted and you watch them grow, but every year, if you just continue to play this game for 20 seasons, you're eventually ending up drafting players that are 40 overalls, and the league is just in shambles because the game doesn't generate enough of the well-developing players or players with high potentials or players with any potentials. The game just kind of gets broken the longer you play, and that's something that's really disappointing for me. So I know that's a real deep dive. This whole podcast is kind of a deep dive, but yeah, that's got to be one of my gripes with the game, and that's enough for me not to buy it. All right, you're asking $60 for me. That's a lot of money right there to not be satisfied fully with my purchase. All right, I'm gonna jump into one of my friend Chris's favorite subjects, the figs. Man, I'm a big fig hunter, and I'm not talking about the fruit. I'm talking about these figures, man. And one of these figures that I've been looking for, or not really looking for because it's been there, it was this Triple H Jeff Hardy 2-pack. And it's one of the last 2-packs that Mattel is releasing for now, I suppose. The Mankind Rock set was the last one for now. But the Triple H Jeff Hardy one came out a little while ago, and I saw it go up on Ringside and Amazon, wherever, Walmart. It's pretty much everywhere. And around the same price, too. Nothing crazy. And I needed it for that Triple H, because I'm doing a Mick Foley display. If you don't know by now, I'm a huge Mick Foley fan. So I got this display I'm trying to build, and I need a Triple H for it. Got the Ultimate, but I can't open that. You feel me? Little tip, those things are becoming worth a pretty penny. But yeah, so ended up clicking that button, add it to my cart. It's on the way. It'll be here by this weekend, and I'm excited. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I urge you to go walk down that toy aisle and just get that hint of nostalgia back in your life. It's fun. It's all good fun. So another thing I want to talk about before I go is, when I was at that GCW show, when we were there, one thing we noticed was there's a lot of women here. And, we all know there's plenty of female wrestling fans. There's a lot more female wrestlers, which is one of my theories as to why there were so many in attendance, is because, I've been going to shows like this for a good amount of time now, maybe over the past 10 years or so. Not so consistently, but I've been going. And the last show I went to when I was in New York, that big ROH show in Manhattan, there were not this many women there. And I'm talking about there's at least 35 to 40 to 45% of the venue was full of women. And I don't even think there was one women's match, which goes to show these guys are just fans. Or they're with their boyfriends, which probably was most of the case. But either way, if you're listening and you are a woman, let me know, are you a fan? When did you become a fan? When did this start? Why did it happen? Because I feel like as fans don't necessarily see that as a representative, and I think that's changing with a lot of what's been going on with the revolution and whatnot, and in the sport, in the sports entertainment world. But I'm very curious because it's very interesting to know or to even think about when and why that trend began. Very interested. So hit me up. So yeah, I think that's a good amount of time for the first podcast. Like I said earlier, this is going to be a real free-flowing thing. May have some notes here or there, but really it's just going to be built off of what I've got going on, what I want to talk about, what I like at the time, what I don't like at the time maybe, and just trying to get you guys to know me better, because I don't know if I've done that well over the past few years or so, how long you've known me or heard of me or seen me or whatever, and I want to improve on that, and you guys are going to help me. But let me get your feedback. Hit me up, drop those comments, share it, tweet me it, DM me, whatever you want to do, let me know. And we're going to try and keep this a consistent thing because I think I like it. So yeah, guys, thank you for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe, smash that like button, or whatever the hell. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.